So going on to the next one. Okay, so this picture is called Maybe Tomorrow, like the song by the Stereophonics. That is, I don't know, I really actually like that song. It's one of the 90s anthems to me in some way. Or at least I hope it was made in the 90s. I guess it was made in it sounds like it was made in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure it was, or maybe the early 2000s, but you got the point, like this kind of Brit rock stuff. I took this picture going from Sao Bento to Rato. There's this long road that connects the Sao Bento area and the Rato area. Rato. And yeah, I took it with my 29mm f2.8. That is the lens that I actually used for a lot of videos here on this channel, so probably you know it very well. And yeah, I just saw this guy passing and doing this kind of wheelie with a bicycle. And actually the picture, when I took it, at first it was very overexposed because I didn't have time to, because I usually, like, I put my settings on manual and I didn't have the actual time to fix the settings, so it's a bit out of focus. It's a bit yeah, so it's a bit blurry and it was very overexposed, but I managed to recover it, so that is really good. And from this picture, Maybe Tomorrow, I made this artwork. So in this case, I cropped it in a square as usual. I added some layers. You can see on the low part of the image on the right side, you can see that there are some textures from the photocopy scan that I showed you before. So I used another one, I think. And I lowered the lights in general, the exposure. I tried to get back the colors, the orange and the reds of the guy, of the skin of this guy, and his t-shirt too, and the cap as well. And I added this label on the top left because I didn't know where to put the title. Actually, it didn't look good anywhere. And so I put like the font that I chose for this title. It's a bit more, I don't know, I think that it looks good with the label in general, because it's a bit more formal in some ways, a bit more as if it looks like, in my opinion, as if it was printed on that, so it doesn't look that fake to me, or maybe it does, I don't know. And I put my name under it with another font, and it's a bit like yeah, it's a bit like this. It's not straight under it, but it's a bit like this. And I think that it's good. I like the overall look of this picture, and I think that this is the one that I spent the most time doing the edit, because I wasn't sure about it, and but in the end it's good, in my opinion. It's interesting. So let's go on with the next one. Okay, so I called this picture Please Take a Seat, because there are lots of seats in general, and I like the fact that even with this name there is basically no one in this picture, no people around. And yeah, I was on the ferry to go from one side to the other of Lisbon, and I don't know, it looked interesting to me with all these neon lights, with all these subtle colors of the seats and the orange from the windows on the right, and this kind of stuff. And the light in the end that is reflected on the floor all the way to the lower part of the picture. And I don't know, the overall composition looked interesting to me, and I wanted to make something out of it. So Please Take a Seat becomes Please Take a Seat, because it's the title stays the same with my name under it. And for this one I wanted so much, I kind of destroyed the original picture. Sorry. Okay, I'm fine. And yeah, I kind of destroyed it because I put several layers on it to enhance the different colors and to make it basically green and red. And I wanted to get this kind of 70s look. That is something that I actually really like, with heavy grain and like blending all the colors together in this case, or just having two colors basically. And yeah, for the font, like, I took a massive one. I used a massive one here to fill all the picture. And I don't know, to me it looks like something out of the 70s, some like short movie shot on 16mm film or 8mm, kind of stuff, you know. Very low quality like that. No, to me it's this is something interesting, and yeah, that's it basically. So going on to the next one. Okay, this is probably my favorite picture ever that I've ever taken, and it's called The Chosen Ones because I don't know. I was in the Oceanario here in Lisbon, and I took it with I think that it was with the 55mm 1.8, and yeah, I really like this kind of ambience in general. The light coming from above, and the fishes, only the ones on top are enlightened in some ways, and I don't know, I kind of like this I don't know, this situation in general, this mood. And with this edit I tried when I edited it, it was I think that I took it in the end of 2020 when like I was living here in Lisbon for I don't know, some months, like 5 months or something like that, or maybe less, and I went with Claudia to the Oceanario. There was basically no one because of COVID in that moment, so it was super cool having the Oceanario all for us, and I took a lot of pictures actually. I think that I like taking pictures of animals or fish or this kind of stuff. It's something that I should do more often in general, because I don't know, it's just interesting. So this is The Chosen Ones, and this is what I got from it. So in this case I added some grain on top, and I lowered the shadows, I increased the contrast to have to make the colors more vivid, more saturated in some ways, and yeah, so I kind of like this result actually, and I decided to use a font that is a bit more classical because I wanted it to look like as if it was the cover of a book, probably more than an artwork in general for music, for an album. And yeah, but sometimes it's something that you do with artworks, like making them look like book covers. It's something that I already saw. It's not something that I invented out of nowhere. Would have been cool, but it's not like this. So yeah, I use this kind of it's not the old English text, but it's something that is I think that it's closer to that style in general. And yeah, there's nothing more to add in this case. I just think that it's good. I like this kind of result. It's interesting to me, and it adds to the magical moment that I was witnessing in that moment. So it's good. And let's go on with the last one. Okay, so I took this picture that is called Videodrome at Home. It comes from the famous movie by David Cronenberg, Videodrome, and I don't know, it reminds me of the famous scene in that movie when the main character, when the subject interacts with the television, with the hand, and this kind of stuff, and it gave me some altered reality vibe in that moment, and I took it with the 55mm by Fujinon. I guess yeah, probably it was always that lens. Yeah, it's one of my favorite lenses. It's just magical. It's crazy. And yeah, so in this case I like this picture for the, I don't know, for the composition in general, the two hands that are almost touching in some ways, the mirror that reflects everything, but I also like the contrast between the orange of my skin and the blue of the background. I took it in the apartment I was living before this one, so yeah, it was interesting to me. I just like this about this picture, and I made it into this. So in this case I totally lowered the shadows, and I made them look very black, and using the blending modes in Photoshop I even pushed them below black in some ways, and they are a bit how do you say, when something is already black, the shadows are already black, like total darkness in some ways, and you push them even more so that they start to look to have this kind of blue-green color. As you can see, there is some blue on the left, on the right, and below also. And like when a picture is totally messed up like that, I don't know, I like this rough style in general. I wanted to push it as much as I could. So in this case I did this with the blacks, and I added this kind of font in the center. I used the technique that I used in the Infinity picture, that is just keeping the shape of the letter without the inside, and so that the letter looks empty in some ways. And in this case I think that it looks good, it looks interesting. It distracts a bit from the picture, but it adds up because at the same time, because I put the overall text between the two hands, so it's in my opinion it's well balanced. Could have been better, but still it's not that bad. And I blended the text with the picture too, and adding a bit of grain and everything, and I just put my name under it with I think that it's the same font, but it's not in waves because I made it look wavy in this case. So my name is same font but full and straight like that. And yeah, so this was the last picture, and I hope that this video is not too long, because I'm checking here the time passing and it looks a bit longer, I know. But at the same time I hope that even if it's longer, it was not boring and it was something interesting for you. And I'd like to bring to this channel to upload some new videos about graphic design too, and to blend this subject with my photography and other stuff. So I don't know, guys, let me know in the comments if you like this video, and if you want to see other videos about it. Maybe in another one I could, I don't know, show a bit of process, like doing a bit of speed, you know, that kind of videos where you use Photoshop and you speed everything up and you do the voiceover and this kind of cool stuff. So I don't know, if you want to see some other contents about graphic design, maybe using another picture of mine, or pictures in general, I don't know, I have to think about it and create new artworks, just let me know it. And yeah, that was it. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video here on this channel. If you didn't do it before, subscribe if you want to keep up with my contents, and thank you for watching again. Bye guys.